What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Terrier Owner YouTube channel. We have Luna out and about like usual for these videos, guys. We appreciate you guys coming back to the channel. We hope you had a happy new year, and we hope the holidays were great for you. And today, guys, we have a video that is very specific to the holiday weather, to the season. But before we dive into that, guys, be sure to give us a thumbs up if you've been enjoying our content. That goes a long way towards helping us get seen by others that need our help on topics like this as well with the YouTube algorithm. So smash that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification button so you are notified for all the future videos. And now let's go ahead and dive into this week's topic, which is winter safety tips, cold weather tips, what to do during the cold weather with your new dogs. This is not necessarily pertaining only to Jack Russells as a dog breed or Luna here. This is applying to really any dog. Just some of the tips that you can implement if you live in a state where the climate is going to get much colder, if the elements are going to be much worse during the winter, what you can do for your dog to protect them, how to care for them in the best way. So let's go ahead and dive into those now. And for the most part, what I can tell you is that all it's really going to take is a little bit of adjustment on your end. A little bit more proofing, a little bit more preparation, and just a little bit more effort with a few certain details. Nothing too crazy. As long as you think ahead and you're prepared, it really shouldn't cause too much of an issue for you, but there are some things that people overlook. So when it comes to like routines, you don't only want to think about the dog and the routines that the dog has, such as going outside to go potty. You need to think about things that you might do around your house. A really common example could be something like space heaters. If you use several space heaters in the home during the winter to keep the house warm, most of the time those sit on the floor. They're typically known not to be super safe in general, but that is another hazard for a dog, especially a dog that likes to chew, like the one that I'm holding now, or a puppy that's still in a chewing phase. That can be dangerous when you're talking about new, higher output electrical devices in the house. That is just an example. We're not going to use this video to talk about space heaters, but that's an example of something that a lot of people might overlook. So let's talk about the main tips. What can you do? The tip number one is pretty simple, and that is don't let a outdoor living situation continue in a low climate area for whatever dog breed you have. A lot of people do use like outdoor dog houses. They're like large dog houses, almost like a mini barn that has a cage around it, almost like a large chicken coop, so to speak. But most of those don't have insulation, or they don't have any kind of actual heating element that's going to keep them warm enough in the winter. So unless you have those things in place and you already know that you're good to go from that aspect, you're not going to want to keep your dog living outdoors in the winter, especially when the temperatures start dropping. So tip number one is don't forget to bring your dog inside for the winter, especially, like I said, no insulated, outhouses, sheds, barns, whatever you're using. It's probably not going to be warm enough. And even if it is, it's really not going to be that comfortable for them. So bring your dog indoors in the winter if the elements call for it. Number two is just adjust your routines and what you do daily to accommodate for the dog in the cold weather. Especially, let's use Luna as an example here with her thin coat of fur. If I like to go on a 3-mile walk every day with her and the temperatures are dropping well below, freezing or into the high 20s, mid-teens, things like that, you need to shorten that walk, or you need to invest a little bit of money into something like a doggy sweater, something to let them keep some of that body heat in, maybe some little slips that go over their feet. Those things do exist, and you do need to keep the dog warm, especially, like I said, on a dog like Luna with shorter fur that she doesn't hold body heat for very long. She starts shivering relatively quick. And as we know, shivering is a body mechanism of trying to create body heat. So make sure that you adjust your routines. Take shorter walks, let them outside for potty and play for shorter durations of time. Just don't keep doing the same things that you did back in the summer, spring, and fall during the winter. They do get cold, they do feel that cold, and it can be dangerous for them too. So adjust your routines and make sure that you are planning accordingly. Number three, I think, is one that a lot of people neglect or forget about, but don't forget that ice can be dangerous for a dog as well. They have paws. Even though they're soft paws that feel like they can absorb and stick to that ice, they can still slip. And if they have nails, those nails could hit something else or break and cause an injury. They could run into something else. Treat the area where a dog is going to travel in and outside of the house to go potty just like you would for your family, your kids, or your spouse, by icing it or making sure that you have a pathway that they can get in safely. Dogs still slip on ice. Ice can still be a hazard for them, so Watch out for ice in the winter as well. My next one, guys, is one that I am guilty of quite often, especially during the nice weather months. Don't forget your dog is outside, especially for those of you with a fenced in yard. It's really easy to let your dog outside to go potty. If they're enjoying the weather, a dog like Luna here loves to be outside as much as she can. She will run around, she'll chase things, she'll just soak up the sun and relax. Making it very easy when you let them go outside to go potty to enjoy the peace and quiet inside the house for a bit and just let them play in a safe backyard for hours at a time. As long as they're behaving and not, disturbing the neighbors by barking constantly, it's nice to leave them out there. Sometimes it's hard to remember, though, whenever the winter months come along, that the weather has shifted. We're inside more. It's a world where a lot of people don't even travel for work anymore, so we forget sometimes that, wow, it's a lot colder out now, and you want to make sure that you're not doing that because they're outside also feeling that cold weather. Now, if you don't have a dog that's vocal and will bark at the back door to let you in, luckily Luna will, my other dog will as well, they will just come bark at the back door when they are ready to come back inside. It's easy to forget, so make sure you're paying attention to when you let the dog outside and you're getting them back inside to keep them out of those elements during the winter months. Another tip, guys, really goes back to tip number 2 about routine changing. One of the biggest things that individuals will do with a dog is some kind of exercise routine or a walking routine. Maybe it's even hunting or some other kind of hobby type routine. In addition to changing your overall routines during these months, you need to adjust those kind of routines as well, such as exercise, because you can't forget that the dog still needs that exercise. They do need the ability to burn off energy. So while you might have to dress warmer and accommodate for the dog to be warmer during those months, it is still needed. So you do still need to find an alternative route, a shorter distance to go, something that you can do to protect yourself and the dog from the elements, but also allow them to still get the exercise that they need to stay healthy, to stay fit, and to keep some of that energy burned off so they're not just running around your house all day long with all of that energy built up. If you had to sum all of this up, it really comes down to slight adjustments, changing your routine a little bit, making sure they still get exercise, and just paying attention a little bit more to the weather and to what the dog is doing when they are outdoors. That should be enough to make sure that your dog is safe during the winter, that your dog is well cared for in the winter, and the elements are not going to cause any issues for you. Of course, we would always love to hear your guys' comments on this topic as well. Anything you can share for anybody who has adopted any dog, not just a dog like Luna here, but any dog breed in general would be great, so be sure to leave those comments for us. Never forget to visit terrierowner.com where you can read all of this information in a written format, plus hundreds of other topics. Again, if you haven't subscribed, now would be a great time to do so. Be sure to give us a thumbs up on the video if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you're notified for our next video. Again, guys, we hope you had great holidays and a happy new year, and we will catch you in the next video. Take care.